Hello, everyone. My name is Paula Kamperman, and I'm the Outreach Program Manager of the Bennington County Solid Waste Alliance, and I'll be talking today about the various recycling programs available to Vermont residents and how you can best utilize them. I'm joined today by Michael Batcher, the Program Manager for the Alliance and Regional Planner for the Bennington County Regional Commission, who will assist in answering questions at the end of the presentation. Also, a recording of this presentation will be available on our YouTube page, and to those registered for this event, you'll also receive a link to the recording and all materials that I make in reference to this presentation. So let's get started. Many of you might be hearing about the Alliance for the first time today, so I'll give you a little background. The Alliance was formed in 2015 to assist participating towns in reducing solid waste disposed in landfills by reducing the amount of waste generated, conserve resources, and promote recycling and reuse. The Alliance provides education and outreach to businesses, schools, residences, and institutions to help achieve the Alliance's goals to reduce the amount of material people in our service area send to the landfill and increase the amount of material diverted from the landfills for recycling and reuse. The Alliance is made up of 13 towns: Arlington, Bennington, Dorset, Glastonbury, Manchester, Pownell, Rupert, Sandgate, Searsburg, Shaftesbury, Stamford, Sunderland, and Woodford. The towns of Peru, Reedsboro, Londonderry, Landgrove, and Winhall, while in Bennington County, are not members of the Alliance. All of the businesses, residents, schools, and organizations located within the Alliance can take advantage of our services. Services the Alliance provides include solid waste audits, where we visit businesses, schools, and institutions to review their waste management practices and offer technical assistance in managing solid waste. This could include the review of current recycling laws, provide sources to recycling items banned from the landfill, provide communication pieces and signing for staff about recycling, and suggest ways to possibly lower solid waste hauling costs. We host household hazardous waste collection events during warmer months of the year. This service is also available to small businesses who pre-register with us, which can cost less than a dedicated pickup by a hazardous waste collection company at their location. We provide source information for the disposal of banned items such as computers and electronics, fluorescent bulbs, and paint through special recycling. Most of this information is also available on our website. We also provide community outreach through presentations to groups and the public about recycling, composting, and waste reduction. A good example of this is making a presentation to residents of an apartment or condominium complex about food scrap diversion and proper recycling. Nearly half of all the waste produced globally is either organic or biodegradable. When sent to a landfill and allowed to degrade anaerobically, that's without the presence of oxygen, methane is produced, which is 30 times more powerful than carbon dioxide at trapping heat. The increases in greenhouse gas emissions is responsible for our climate change. So, when we reduce the amount of waste we generate, we reduce our need for additional landfill space while reducing our carbon footprint. Vermont's Universal Recycling Law adopted a food recovery hierarchy into law in 2012 to draw attention to our use of uneaten food and help guide consumers into making the highest and best use of their food. The most preferred method being source reduction, followed by food for people, then animals, then composting. When we reduce our consumption of food and thereby reducing the amount of food scraps generated in the first place by shopping smarter, strategically planning meals with the foods we have on hand, less of our food goes to waste. When we do have leftover food, our first priority is to give it to people first through food pantries and other organizations. When we have lower quality food waste, we share that with animals and other agricultural uses. Any leftover food at this point should be composted or used in anaerobic digestion. In 2014, Vermont began requiring large food scrap generators, like grocery stores, universities, and large hospitals, to divert their food scraps from landfills to certified facilities. As of July 1st, 2020, smaller generators, including all residents, are now required to divert their food scraps. This requires all residents to adjust the ways in which food is disposed of, and as residents in homes implement a program for food scrap diversion that meets the needs of all residents while still complying with state laws. I'll spend the next few minutes outlining the details of those requirements. Residents have a number of options to dispose of food scraps. First, they may hire a company to pick up food scraps. Currently, commercial haulers aren't offering curbside food scrap collection, but smaller startup enterprises are starting up around the state to fill this void. Vermont specifically states haulers are not required to pick up food scraps from individual residential addresses, but they are required to offer food scrap collection as part of the trash and recycling service to multifamily dwellings with 4 or more units, as well as commercial accounts such as schools, businesses, and institutions. If in a multi-unit setting, it may make sense to manage trash, recycling, and food scraps together collectively for a hauler to pick up. Residents also have the option to collect food scraps individually or collectively for drop-off at a transfer station, farm, or a community composting facility. The third option, to digest or compost in a backyard or common green space, can be an easy diversion method if space is available and someone is willing to actively manage the bin or bins. When properly managed, composting produces a rich soil amendment containing vital nutrients that can be added to houseplants, gardens, and lawns while reducing soil erosion and protecting against drought, as it holds 20 times its weight in water. Backyard composting is a relatively inexpensive option, with residents purchasing a building the bin to collect scraps. Using a solar digester, for those unfamiliar with the process, is a way for residents to place food scraps, including meat, bones, and pet waste, into a container partially submerged underground that may only need to be emptied every few years. When commercial haulers provide food scrap collection in a multi-unit complex or commercial locations, they typically provide containers, either rolling carts similar to the trash and recycling carts, to store outside or within a shed or garage. If you would be dropping off food scraps at either a centrally located collection point or on-site or at a transfer station, 2 to 5 gallon buckets with lids work well for daily collection of each unit's food scraps. Now that I've explained the various options there are to food scrap diversion, I'm going to describe ways to get the chosen food scrap collection program started. If you are a resident within a multifamily dwelling of 4 or more units or a commercial location and are already receiving hauler to come and pick up your trash and recycling, check with the property manager or landlord to see if they offer food scrap collection, or check the hauler yourself if you are the business owner. When using a hauler, keep in mind managing odors and pests around food scraps prior to pickup require adding carbons, or browns as they're called, such as sawdust, mulch, wood shavings, leaves, shredded newspaper, coffee grounds, and other organic matter on top of the food scraps stored in the tote or bin. Larger haulers may provide an additional tote containing wood pulp or sawdust, which is used to apply on top of the food scraps. So you'll need to make sure your collection location has enough space for the additional bins. The amount of sawdust or browns added on top of food scraps will vary with the temperature and how full your bin is. For example, in summer months, you may need to add 2 to 6 inches of browns, particularly to full bins, to keep maggots and flies at bay, and much less browns during the winter months when there are fewer pests. Packing the sawdust down with a handheld garden tool will help control pests and maximize space in between bin pickups. Most haulers and commercial drop-off locations accept all food scraps, including meat and bones, fats, oils, coffee grounds, and filters and spoiled food. It is important that everyone understand what goes into bins or collection buckets is just organic matter. No produce sticky labels, wrappings, or plastic bags used to line a kitchen compost bin or transport scraps from the kitchen that is then deposited along with the food scraps to a common area collection bin. Plastic bags do not break down during the composting process and must be sorted out. Most haulers and transfer stations only accept bags that are labeled BPI certified and compostable, but check with the hauler or transfer station before using them. On a side note, compostable bags can be used as a bucket liner, but also can be very expensive, particularly over a long period of time when disposed with each load, and their quality can vary widely. A bag that breaks down on the way to the collection bin can make a real mess. A less expensive method may be to line a small bucket with newspaper that can be emptied along with food scraps in the bucket, and then just wash out the bucket once emptied into the larger collection tote. Hardware stores and online bulk wholesalers sell buckets with lids. Some restaurants, bakeries, grocery stores, and food manufacturers end up with extra buckets on hand that they give away for free. You can also check websites like FreeCycle or networks like Front Porch Forum, where they are sometimes advertised. If you live in a single-family dwelling or a property that has just a few residential units, composting food scraps in the backyard can be an easy solution if someone is willing to actively manage the piles throughout the year. Compost bins can be made of a variety of materials, but plastic compost bins purchased at hardware stores or through the Alliance during warmer months at scheduled sales can be an economical and easy way to get started. Residents composting in the backyard should be reminded that leftover meat and bones should be placed in the trash rather than the compost bin, as their composting system won't likely reach a temperature high enough to properly break down the animal material and can attract unwanted animals. The key to managing a successful composting system is understanding the techniques for proper breakdown to keep animals away and maintain healthy sanitary conditions on your property. The University of Vermont's Extension has a master composting course online, and the state of Vermont also has resources for successful composting. Solar digesters are also a good solution if you don't have a use for finished compost and just want to break down the food scraps. A solar digester will break down all food scraps, including meat, bones, and animal waste. While a lot more expensive up front, it requires less looking after once the system is set up than a composting system. In either case, it is important that you size your system to be sufficient to serve the size of or number of households you have. Vermont has seen an increase in human-bear interactions, so it is important to take a few steps to discourage bears and manage your compost so it doesn't attract animals. Take down bird feeders during non-winter months. Use 3 times as many browns as greens to minimize smell and to speed up the composting process, and regularly turn your compost pile so the materials break down more quickly. If bear activity persists, check with your neighbors to see if they have bird feeders up or other food sources attracting the animals. More information about composting and resources to address animal issues can be found in a booklet entitled The Dirt on Compost, distributed by the Vermont DEC. We also have a few in our Alliance offices. For any food scrap diversion program to be successful, understanding the process is key. It's important to understand what food scraps are and determine how they will be collected and brought to the central location or area of a backyard system. Perhaps a receptacle, such as the bucket pictured here with a lid, to collect the food scraps in the kitchen to later take to the collection bin outside. The state of Vermont has downloadable sign bins or bin signs you can post above the bins, identifying proper sorting of food scraps, recycling as well, and trash, and instructions for setting up a composting system. Your hauler's website may also have downloadable webs or signs that you can use that readily identify the items that they accept. The next part of Vermont's recycling program includes what is picked up curbside in your blue collection bin. In its simplest form, it includes 3 categories: paper, cardboard, and containers like bottles, cans, and jars that are clean and dry. Household items, consumable items made of aluminum, steel, glass, paper, cardboard, and number 1 and 2 plastics are banned from the landfill, so they must be recycled. You may be able to recycle other items in your mixed recycling bin at your transfer station. Contact your hauler or town to learn more. Your curbside recycling program has limits as to what it can accept. The minimum size of items deposited loose in your recycling bin is 2 inches on 2 sides. For example, you can collect tinfoil into a tight ball on your kitchen counter until it reaches at least 2 inches across in diameter. You can also collect small pieces of paper and put them into a larger envelope and seal it shut before placing in your recycling bin. The maximum length allowed in your bin is 2 feet. This means you should trim down your oversized cardboard boxes and tubing so that it can be easily collected and sorted at the Materials Recovery Facility, also known as a MRF. The biggest challenge to successful recycling is contamination. We can all do our part by making sure items we put in the recycling bin are clean and dry. So here are some good guidelines. Rinse recyclable containers clean. They don't need to be perfect, just free of most residue. You don't want to put anything with leftover food on it in the recycling. That's gross, and it reduces the value of recyclables. A little grease stain left on a pizza takeout box is fine. All of your toppings stuck to the roof of a pizza box is not. Throw that one away. Plastic bags cannot be recycled in your curbside recycling bin. So don't bag your recycling or put plastic film of any kind in your bin. It jams up the machinery at the sorting facility, slowing down the recycling process. The good news is they can be recycled through other special recycling programs I'll discuss later. While some items may be made partially or entirely of paper, cardboard, or plastic, they may not be recyclable. An example, expandable polystyrene, known as styrofoam, was banned in 2020 for sale in stores and use in food service establishment in Vermont. This includes plates and cups, trays, egg cartons, and takeout containers. Popular product pouches are convenient for manufacturers because they are lightweight, inexpensive, and can be either made to stand up or store on shelves or hung on pegs. Unfortunately, there is no recycling program in Vermont to recycle these items, so they must be placed in the trash. Gabled cartons and aseptic packaging, commonly used for shelf-stable liquids, as well as refrigerated dairy and non-dairy milks and juices for the most part, cannot be recycled either in Vermont. Black plastic takeout container trays and coffee lids with their dark pigmentation cannot currently be recycled in your curbside program or at any other transfer station, even if they contain appropriate triangular recycling markings. Many paper coffee cups aren't recyclable either, as they are lined with a plastic lining to prevent leakage. Curbside recycling is sorted by hand, so it is critically important that you do not put the following items in your recycling bin, all of which can cause injury to workers and potentially start dangerous fires. In addition, when these items are thrown into the trash, residual chemicals and toxic metals can leach into groundwater sources. They include household hazardous waste, batteries, including lead acid, rechargeable, and lithium-ion batteries, electronics, computer and peripherals, fluorescent tubes and bulbs, and mercury-containing thermostats. The good news is that there are special recycling and disposal programs that exist in Vermont to keep these dangerous items out of our landfills. I'll explain each of these programs. Extended producer responsibility is industry-sponsored initiatives of manufacturers to take materials out of the waste stream at the end of their life. Call to Recycle is the industry-sponsored organization that manages the battery recycling program in Vermont. Batteries included are primary or single use. This would include non-rechargeable alkaline, lithium, zinc oxide, and any other battery that you would dispose of normally after use. It also includes batteries such as rechargeable ones, which include lithium ion, small sealed lead acid, nickel cadmium, and nickel metal hydride. All of these types of batteries can be recycled when their terminal ends are taped or sealed in a plastic bag and dropped off at locations through the state, including transfer stations, household hazardous waste collection locations and events, and several retailers. You can visit our website or call to recycle.org for drop-off locations. Any mercury-containing bulb, regardless of the amount of mercury, cannot be discarded in the trash. Mercury-containing light bulbs manufactured after November 30th, 2003 will be labeled on the bulb itself with the words "contains mercury" or the symbol Hg. Within the circle, Hg is the scientific symbol for mercury on the periodic table of elements. You see these do not crush mercury-added bulbs. Bulbs should be stored in ways that avoid breakage, as crushing releases mercury vapors that may pose health and environmental risks. Broken bulbs are hazardous waste. Residents, small businesses, and institutions such as schools can recycle mercury-containing bulbs, including all fluorescent, at local transfer stations and some retail locations. To find a collector near you, as well as their drop-off guidelines, visit our website or lamprecycle.org. Vermont eCycles program provides free and convenient recycling of computers, monitors, televisions, printers, and computer peripherals to residents, charities, school districts, and small businesses. Although electronic waste is a small component of all waste that is disposed, it is the fastest growing component of waste. Think of how many more computer devices there are that weren't around 20 years ago. Locations participating in the program will allow drop-off of up to 7 devices at a time free of charge. Other electronics banned from disposal, but not covered under the eCycles program, include, but aren't limited to, game consoles, telephones, personal music players, VCRs, DVD players, and stereo equipment. These items aren't necessarily accepted at all locations, and some locations charge a fee. For more information about participating locations and guidelines, visit our website or vtecycles.org. Paint is banned from the landfill in Vermont. Proper management of paint lessens harmful impacts on our environment and is a better use of resources than landfilling leftover or unwanted paint. Latex paint can often be recycled into new paint, and oil-based paint can be reblended and used as fuel. So don't dump liquid paint down drains or in the trash. If you have hardened latex paint, it is okay to dispose of that into the trash. Never throw oil-based paint in the trash, whether it is hardened or liquid. For more information about guidelines, visit our website or paintcare.org. Architectural paint products still in their liquid form that includes house paint and primers, latex or oil-based, stains, deck and concrete sealers, clear finishes such as varnishes and shellac can be dropped off for recycling at several area retailers in quantities up to 5 gallons a day in its original container. Household hazardous waste, HHW as we call it, includes any household products labeled caution, toxic, danger, hazard, warning, poisonous, reactive, corrosive, or flammable. The Alliance provides household hazardous waste collection events during warm weather months. These events are free to residents of the Alliance. Schools and small businesses located within the Alliance may also take part in the event by registering and paying any disposal fees. Items accepted at these events include things like chemicals and pesticides, paints, and mercury-containing items such as fluorescent bulbs, thermometers, thermostats, and alkaline and rechargeable batteries. This year's events are scheduled for Saturday, May 8th at the Mount Anthony Union Middle School, Saturday, July 24th at the Agency of Transportation in Reedsboro, and Saturday, September 11th at the Dorset School. All events will run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our website as we get closer to the event dates for complete information. You can also follow us on Facebook or see our ads in the Vermont News Guide for scheduled dates and locations. Textiles, including apparel, shoes, towels, and linens, can all be recycled or donated. Green and yellow collection boxes such as this one illustrated are located throughout Bennington County and collect all manner of clean textiles that are donated or recycled into rags or other uses related to manufacturing. Goodwill of the Berkshires, located in Bennington, accepts textiles and certain household items. Additionally, V&A and Hospice of the Southwest region has a thrift shop in Manchester that accepts donations of clothing and household goods. Visit their websites prior to donating to determine what items are accepted. If you are putting textiles in a collection box, make sure the items donated are just clothing, shoes, and other textiles that are clean and bagged prior to depositing. If the box is full, please wait to make your donation until after the box has been emptied by the agency. Most of the boxes are located on private property, and the owners do not want the hassle of dealing with excess donations and unwanted household items piling up outside the boxes. Plastic film is a category that includes many types of packaging, none of which can go into your recycling bin, but can be returned to your local grocery store that accepts plastic bags. Material that can be recycled includes flexible number 2 or 4 plastic films, items with these markings. Packaging made from these materials include grocery and produce bags, newspaper and bread bags. In addition, Ziploc bags, after you remove any type of external zipper, Amazon plastic padded shipping pouches after you return or remove the paper label, air pillows and bubble wrap, case wrap, and stretchy product wrap. Some other materials not commonly known but also included in this program are cereal bags, wood pellet and softener salt bags with the ends cut off, and dry cleaning bags. All of the packaging should be turned inside out and any residue removed. The following items, while maybe made out of plastic, cannot be included in this program. Crinkly plastic bags such as grape bags or pre-washed salad mix bags, shiny metallic lined food packaging such as chip bags, pouches, other chip bags, meat and cheese packaging to name a few, pet food or bird seed bags, mulch or soil bags or agricultural plastic, woven or seed bags, and any biodegradable, degradable, or compostable plastic. The Trex Corporation, famous for its outdoor decking, is the company that utilizes all of the plastic film you recycle at grocery stores and community-led collection programs. For more information, check out trex.com/recycling. Here are the retailers located in Vermont that participate in the National Trex Plastic Film Recycling Program. Beyond Vermont's borders are a host of specialized recycling programs offered by innovative companies such as TerraCycle that work to collect and repurpose hard-to-recycle waste. Think cigarette butts, car seats, plastic collected from beaches and waterways, beauty products, and PPE, to name a few. You can visit their website at TerraCycle.com for a full list of collection programs, some of which will ship collection boxes right to your location. It's important to put this whole process of recycling in perspective. Once you realize that much of what we throw away isn't actually trash, but a marketable commodity with a monetary value on items such as paper, aluminum, cardboard, glass, tin, plastic, and food scraps, your sorting of items and making sure they're clean and dry and uncontaminated is easier, and you know you're doing your part to reduce your carbon footprint. The Alliance is available to host on-site or virtual presentations to groups about recycling and composting to help residents better understand the process, so your waste management program is a success. Feel free to contact us through our website, email, or Facebook for assistance. We're also just a phone call away and here for you. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. Here is all our contact information, which I'll leave up while we answer any questions. Okay, I've got a question. Where are the hazardous waste days again? What, where? Okay, so we've got, the first one is May 8th. That's Saturday at Mount Anthony Union Middle School on East Road. And they are all 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The second one is July 24th. That's a Saturday. And this is at the Reedsboro Agency of Transportation. It's a new location for us. And that is on Route 100 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the third one is Saturday, September 11th at the Dorset School in Dorset from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll give more information as we get closer to the events about acceptable items and protocols with COVID-19. So we'll have everybody safe and then just give everybody a list of what's accepted and what's not. Okay, I think we'll wrap this up. I appreciate everybody's presence today, and don't hesitate to contact us directly if you have any questions, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.